my all-time favorites, the drum roll. If I could, I would drink it every day.
Every day?
I would.
Like
maybe
wake
one
up?
day, you know? No, not wake up, but after work.
Will you pass me one?
Yeah.
We're seeking sponsorship, but I was saying how I'd way rather have Odell's than New Belgium, but then maybe New Belgium will end up sponsoring us or whatever. So I was saying every time I taste New Belgium, I'm like, dang, I wish this was like an Odell's. But
I agree with you. I've always leaned on Odell's, so every time I go to the brewery, it's always special, at least. The beers there are exceptional.
What are some of your favorite beers over there?
I mean, I'm pretty sure you know, like, you've already said it, like, some of my favorite, some of the key words that I always say is Odell's IPA. I like the drum roll. I used to, back in when we were doing our July 4th, Mac Bussin'.
Oh, we still do it. We still do it, yeah.
We still do it, but, you know, we used to go to the park. Which park was that?
City Park.
They used to have loose leaf, which I used to love.
Yeah.
Those are kind of some of my beers that I truly enjoyed.
I said in the last podcast that Double Pilsner is definitely my favorite one, but the Lagerado recently has been popular, you know.
Oh yeah, I've been drinking that too.
And we had a few at the game today. We just got back from the game, freshened up, ready for the episode, but we did have the IPA out, but we handed it out at the field. So like,
oh yeah, we're always handing it out, man.
Yeah, I think a lot of people know that, like, if they come, they can get a nice tasty treat, like after the game from us. But then I'm like, I had the 6 Odell's, but I don't know where they went.
And
like, I had one, but I'm not sure where that, like, somebody got. It was nice for them, you know.
I agree. No, and we're happy to always provide, but you know, and we should never forget, you know, the 90 shillings. That's a staple too. That's on the list as well.
Yeah, the 90's good. It's a little heavy for me.
Sometimes it's not an everyday thing, but I think sometimes you know, I'm like, oh, I gotta give some 90 shilling love and pick up a 6-pack of that.
Yeah, and locally, you know, I do think that Odell's is one of the best companies around, and yeah, I just love their beer. Even when I was living in California, there's basically no Odell's beers like shipping to California, so I just like wouldn't drink beer.
Really?
Yeah. Like, why would I have a beer without
Odell's? I know.
Odell's, but Odell's, if you're listening, we're looking for sponsorship of the episode. Nick is a little bit more New Belgium guy, but I'm big
Which
on
I'm cool with that. You know, yeah. I'll have New Belgium as well. I just personally
I could tell when I said
more.
to Nick about the whole New Belgium thing, I could just see it hurt him a little bit, you know. But it's like, well, then what we just, and if New Belgium takes over soon, I'll probably just have a New Belgium glass, but I'll have Odell's in the
I see.
glass. But
that's a sneaky move.
If Koji gets warmed up enough.
I will.
This is the town branch, so this is from Lexington, Kentucky. But did we have some of this, Koji, or what?
Not yet, but I will be diving in after.
But where did we go when we were in Kentucky?
Oh my God.
Woodford.
We did go to Woodford.
Yeah. This town branch is so nice, you know, and it's really good. So I'm excited for you to try it. But town branch, if you're watching this, Koji and I went through Lexington. I lived there for a couple years, but
we had a good time.
This town branch, like, it's so tasty. We got Koji today, James Goldman. So he came up this weekend. He was playing today for the Mavs. He was out there right back up and down the sideline, putting in some crosses, being physical with people. And yeah,
as always, dude.
What's up, Koji? How are you feeling?
I feel good. I feel better than, you know, most of I feel like lately I think about how, you know, my body's been feeling, and it's probably one of the better conditions that I feel like I've been. Mainly just feeling fully fit and not feeling like there's little nicks and knacks and injuries here and there. Normally, you know, at our age, as we all know, like you can pick that up pretty easily, and you know, I'm just grateful that right now that's not where I'm at. And you know, even today, we won 3-0.
It was only 3?
It was only 3.
Oh man. Yeah, you guys were balling. I was watching from the sideline.
I know. We always say this, you know, win or lose or whatever, as long as we're healthy, it's one of the most important things. So, again, right now, I came out healthy, and you know, I'm grateful for that, and I want to continue to stay healthy. So, I feel pretty good.
Nice, bro. And what about Chelsea? Like recently, like talk to me about Cole Palmer. Like, what's happening with his free kicks, or what's up?
It's been, you know, I feel like it's been a long road since, you know, we've changed the ownership from Roman to Todd, and you know, Todd's gone kind of crazy, and I think I would do the same, and I would, if I owned a Chelsea football club, I probably would splash, rightfully so. But
who would you splash on?
Who would I splash on if I had my choice? You know, I think for sure. I mean,
players?
All that stuff should be top of the line, no matter what. I mean, I would be so hands-on to a point where I probably
give
would
a massage.
I would be getting a massage.
Giving.
Oh, give it? No, I'm not gonna be giving one. I think I would be
Yeah, I think
potentially,
you would,
you know, with the players, you know, just
Cole Palmer,
vibing in
I feel like you
a
would be
locker
giving
room.
him a
No, I
massage.
definitely would not be doing that. But I mean, Chelsea, I feel like for right now, we're vibing.
Yeah.
You know, we're 4th place, which I feel like, you know, before the season started, we got a lot of criticism from, you know, people I wouldn't mention. But
I was criticizing. You can make
sure, one of them was you.
Yeah.
There's many other years. I mean, people are barking in my ears that we're saying some things about our squad being too big. You know, we signed.
You have 48.
We signed this license.
You have 48.
Yeah, it's huge. I agree. It'll get sized down. It'll be dealt with. We
Like
signed
47 or
Drewsbury
46
Hall.
or
I
something.
feel like you didn't love that signing.
Yeah, I'm not big on that signing,
But maybe he grooms into it. I tried to tell you that he was, you know, he's not going to be in the starting lineup. He's coming off the bench, and so what. So far, I'm happy with the starting. You know, the first 7 games, we're top 4. What can you ask for right now?
You guys are looking good. I was thinking that at the beginning of the season, you guys would struggle, which you guys did. But yeah, I mean, you guys really ripped it up, so they're looking good.
Yeah. And are you happy with how Leeds are turning?
Yeah, Leeds are looking good. We really need them to come up. You know, they've been one of the best in the championship the last 2 years, but we really need them back. Everybody, like, imagine like how much better the Prem will be if the league, like Leeds is there and stuff, you know, and they're just really obviously a top club, like a top side, and they're just like in the lower.
I know, they're right there
division,
though.
But I think it's 3 out of 4 out of their last 5 were wins and shutouts, and I think it's the most clean sheet. Like, I think they have more shutouts this season than they did all last season.
Already,
yeah. But yeah, I mean, I think. Do you feel pretty warmed up?
Yeah, I do feel pretty warmed up.
Okay, that's the warm up. We'll be back with kickoff next.
So there's always time to settle down. Somebody moving around. And there's always time to settle down. Somebody moving around. And there's always time to settle down. Somebody moving around. And there's always time to settle down.
So Red Stripe. Red Stripe was one of my dad's favorite beers. So Red Stripe, if you're listening,
We're ready for beers.
we're ready for beers, but we're looking for sponsorship. So could be potential sponsor. Here, I got you.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Could be potential sponsors, like if you like athletics, if you like fireplaces, if you like drinking beer with the homies.
If I like Jamaicans, I like Jamaicans.
Yeah, me too. If you're big on sport, if you're big on family, then maybe Red Stripe.
Cheers.
If you're listening, looking for sponsorship. Rastafari. I say that after every Jamaican beer that I drink.
Rastafari.
Yeah, we're into Bob Marley, dude. We're into
Lauren Donaldson. We're into, you know.
Yep. Leon
Cal.
Bailey.
Leon Bailey.
Last episode, Nick had the One Love, book out, like soccer all over the world, like One Love. I think Nick's favorite artist is Bob Marley, so.
I know he's got it tatted.
I think that Bob Marley, I have a toe injury right now, but Bob Marley, he died from cancer, but it came from a toe injury.
Really?
Yeah, he had a toe injury, and then it developed into cancer and spread through his body. But he played every day. That's what he says.
I believe it.
Yeah, but...
I bet he was a good player, too.
Well, yeah, I mean, luckily he didn't come against you because you would have chopped him down.
I don't know. I would have taken him a little bit easily, I think. I don't want him to... I appreciated his music, too, so... I wouldn't have probably gone a little... I probably took it easy on him.
Yeah, well, we did warm up. But yeah, we also have the fire pit here. Koji played with the Mavs earlier today.
Yeah,
I was out there. I was training with Max Speed over in the reserve field. Me and Max were getting some touches.
Good. Max is looking good.
I was with Henry and Lenora, talking NCAA and stuff like that. But yeah, we came back to Smith Street. We were in the green room a little bit.
Just chilling.
Yeah,
as always, we had Chelsea on the back, just replay.
Yeah. Palmer had 4 goals this weekend, so like Chelsea's very...
At half, by the way.
Yeah. Yeah, 8.5. And wow, what a stat. Like, we're going to talk about some stats, but what a stat. Like, 4 goals in 1.5. And then you texted, like, the first player to do that. And I'm just like, I'm surprised, like, Bamford or somebody didn't do it, like, before, but... Yeah, maybe Bamford or Henry or some of the legends,
Ronaldo, maybe Ronaldo. I would have thought maybe Ronaldo would have done it. Maybe Rooney. Maybe
4.5 is crazy.
I know.
And I mean,
I agree on that.
I saw some. Did you see how some of the Man City players are like signing the Erling Haaland ball?
I did.
And there's some cuss words or whatever. F off or whatever, like, I'm sick of signing these and stuff. And then how do they feel like with Cole Palmer? Do you think with all those hat tricks? Like,
I think it would be good. I thought I saw one of those signings. I don't even know truly what. Yeah, I don't know what. Latiba, what's his name? Lavia.
Oh.
He signed it saying,
Romeo Lavia, yeah.
Romeo Lavia. He signed the ball saying that you're still mid regardless.
That's what he said? On the ball?
Yes.
Jeez, the ball's kind of rich.
And to me, I don't know what that means. Does that mean that he's still a midfielder? Or is he a mid player? I don't know. Like, it was kind of a funny signing, but regardless, Palmer knows he's a baller. He's keeping Chelsea in top 4.
And so I was texting you about, this was before Cole scored, all the 4 goals or whatever, but I was saying, like, Cole Palmer, maybe he should start practicing free kicks.
What did he say? What did he say that he was gonna...
I'm asking you. You're the guest.
I knew...
This is episode 2, CCA.
I expected him...
Koji's asking me all the questions. The questions are for Koji.
I thought he does... I'm pretty sure he messes around.
Messes about. At training.
Throwing.
After training.
And at the game, he just tosses a 90, upper 90, 35 out. I mean, that's Cole Palmer for you, He's just a casual player. And
you just got him 1 year ago. Like, I don't know.
I know. And he's balling out for us. And and that's what I love to see for, you know.
Well, I can tell you, Cole Palmer is CCA certified.
Of course.
CCA.
CCA Vail. Is he Vail certified?
I mean, if he gets older, like, I don't even know if
I don't know. He's definitely not answering our calls right now, but, you know, maybe in about 5 to 10 years from now, he may be answering our call.
Well, I know he's on, like, a 20-year contract with Chelsea, but could change.
Why wouldn't he be?
Could change if a big bidder comes in, but speaking of signing balls, this is the CCA
Okay.
podcast.
That looks like a lovely ball.
The starting 11, the locals. So last week we recorded, all the people present signed the ball. So if you would, Koji, can you sign this?
Yeah, of course. Thank you. I'm honored to do that.
Just a little Siggy there. Yeah, I'm honored as well.
Thanks for having me. Really appreciate that.
Yeah, and all of our guests, like Nick, Koji, whoever, Banger, whatever, everyone can have, there could be multiple episodes in the future, but we just have a quick 45 minutes here and then halftime, second half. So maybe there'll be a future episode, or maybe we'll do, maybe we'll watch Leeds versus Chelsea Champions League final live stream.
In our lifetime?
Or maybe in the future, yeah. Maybe we'll do a World Cup episode. Maybe, this series a little bit more about like the local players, like maybe it's Fort Collins or Cherry Creek or Colorado, or maybe
US
it's Texas.
or whatnot.
Yeah. And then there might be a future one with more. Okay, who are some of these, players that Roger Espinosa, who played a lot. Yeah. So maybe we'll get some of those bigger fish in a later episode. But yeah, one of the things we just want to get to know is like, okay, can we get to know you? So yeah, I mean, let's hear about where you're at right now with the game.
Right now?
Yeah.
To be really honest, right now with the game of soccer, the football, I'm in love. It was never always like that. Where maybe you could ask me that same question maybe 3, 4, 5 years ago, and I probably would have said something along the lines of that I've stayed out of it. And,
Jeesh. That's heavy to hear, but like, okay.
But that's the relationship.
But let's be right now.
But that's the relationship, and to me, I think about it a lot of playing. I feel like I always want to play. But I'm 37 today, and as much as that I want to play every day. By the way. Oh, thank you.
I was also 37.
I know. Both August and September birthdays, and we talk about this a lot, but if we could, I wish that we had that mentality that we have today, maybe 10 years ago, and we could play every day. But right now, I strategically kind of reserve myself to allow myself to play with players that I want to play with, whether that's with Mavs or you, with certain sessions that you may have. Because I do get invited to play in these indoor games that are cool, and I still would have fun, but in Denver, in Westminster or whatever, and I strategically plan what days I want to play or how I play it, because it's one of those things that as we get older, we want to conserve ourselves to play the game we love with the people that we love. So my relationship today is a good one. So I know that in the past that wasn't the case, and as you know, I've tried to. I had a short college career, but that's probably when I hit my rock bottom of my relationship with soccer, and it probably, if anything, helped with my time away at the time of me not playing since college. Love the game more than ever now. So.
That's good. That's good to hear. I feel similarly. I told Nick last episode that was recorded that even when I was really little, and we'll talk about some of your little experiences, it's just that, like, I just remember, loving the game so much, and even when I was just talking about it, like, I just get goosebumps every time that I play and stuff, and one of my favorite moments of the day, like, I get to coach and stuff, but one of my favorite moments is, like, when I get the balls out of the bag, and, like, they hit the grass, and it's like, okay, we're here, to play or whatever, but I do, and Lily, she will be seeing these episodes in the future, but I still just, love the game a lot, and every day, that's one of my favorite things, and that's good to hear about, currently you're enjoying it.
Yeah, and of course, I hope you know that you were a big part of that movement of, I think you knew maybe where I was going through in my life at the time or whatever, and you kind of planted some seeds of, hey, I know some guys up in Fort Collins that maybe you could play with the Mavs here and there, and you never really pushed it hard enough, but maybe pushed it just enough.
Yeah.
That allowed me to have interest to be part of the Mavs now more than ever, because I was out of the game 4 or 5 years ago. I don't know if you remember.
And
that.
recently we just came out of, we're in the fall season, but we had a big veil, and veil is big for everybody, but you had a nice veil.
Of course, yeah. That's what we strive to do, and we trained for it, and I felt like we played pretty well. Lost in the finals again.
Yeah.
It seems like being in the finals is the expectation, but we're right there.
Yeah. And so that's where you're at right now, but let's hear about, like, the earliest memories that you have of, like, the game, or because, like, here's where you are. This is Koji, but now let's hear about where you started, or, like, what were those origins?
Yeah, mine's a bit of a unique one, because as you know, I my mom's side is from Japan, and
Keiko.
Yeah, when I was
Keiko, if you're listening, shout out Keiko.
Shout out to my mom Keiko, my dad Alan. But I grew up in Japan when I was from 3 to 9, and that's really ultimately where I started playing, was in Japan, and I never expected that soccer would have lasted my rest of my life, but it was a very much of a community thing, where
in Japan?
It was in Yokohama, Japan, right near, about 15 to 20 minutes from Tokyo. No grass.
Yeah.
All just sand, hard fields.
Clay or, like, dirt.
Yeah, it was just dirt fields.
Why do they do that? Why do they do, like, dirt?
It's just, I think it's just, in Japan, it's very hard to maintain, and it's very expensive to do so. And it's not just, soccer that's being used. There's other kind of sports that are being played. But for the most part, I just remember traveling in the trains together with the team, and we were just 5 years old with, I'll admit, like, we were winning, and we were doing really well, even at the young age. And some of the things that I really remember was that being with teammates and enjoying not just playing soccer, but enjoying having lunch together, enjoying the conversation together. Those are some of the little things that I always remembered. Just being with some of my best friends and playing soccer, and growing up in Japan is a unique experience that I got to have, and obviously the transition from coming from Japan to the U.S. was a lot, but I stayed in touch with it. And
Do you think
never
any of
change
the buddies in Japan will be listening to the podcast?
they could be. I would
Do
be.
any of them have sponsorship that maybe they would be?
I don't know. It's been
TBD.
crazy to say, but it's been 30 years. You know, so I don't know where they are. I hope they're still playing. Some of them probably
You're
are
one
not.
of
But
Japan's biggest exports, though.
yeah,
Don't you think?
I know, but
And so those were the early days. Like, are there any, very early influences? Like, some people say, oh, the USA '94 World Cup, like they were seeing US, when they were younger. Were there any influences or coaches that you had, or early doors of like, okay, here's why you like the game?
Yeah, I think I was a little too young to remember any of the Japanese international players, or maybe some of the, I kind of remember some of the coaches that were coaching me. None of the really famous coaches, but really, again, it's just like what I remember was the community that, I played every day. Whether that was an organized practice or whether that was after school and we walk home from school and we go to the parks and come home till, my mom's yelling at me to come home for dinner,
Jacob?
She's like, Coach, we're done playing here. We gotta eat dinner. And I'm like, well, we got 30 more minutes of soccer or whatever. But, those are the things that I think I remember. It was less for me at the time. I didn't really recognize the international players. It was too early for me to know or have idols at the time. But really, it came when I was in, when I moved around 8 or 9 back to the U.S. And I don't know. I don't know if you remember Nakata for Roma and
Of course.
stuff. Those are kind of the early days for me that I started to kind of idolize some of the Japanese players.
Yeah. And so for playing every day, like, I'm just a little bit surprised, like, because your touch, it's like, it's just a little bit off,
Rough around the edges.
Yeah. So maybe you were playing a lot, but the touch was not, like, one of your focuses, or what? Because I'm picturing, like, in Japan, they're just doing touch, tight spaces, angles.
It's a little bit less.
But you were
formal
just
than
out there, boom.
It was basically
Clear
you
it.
pick 2 trees those are the goalposts, and you gather up the friends that you can, and you play 4v4s, 5v5, 6v6.
What was the women's player that she's a Japanese player, Sawa?
Sawa?
Yeah.
Do
Do you know Sawa?
At the time, for me, like, no, I don't know her that well. I know of her.
What was her first name?
I don't know actually, but
Good.
women. When I was growing up, it wasn't as big until they
Sawa.
won. Yeah.
Well, you wouldn't know this, but Sawa, there was a women's professional or professional team here in Fort Collins called the Force, and Sawa played for the Denver Diamonds
Okay.
in Denver, but Sawa played against the Force, and I used to watch her play, and she was one of my earlier, players I looked at, like, oh wow, how good she is. And then she was World Cup winner and beat the USA, even when she was older, and she was also female player of the year.
Really?
Yeah. You know Sawa?
I don't know Sawa. I
Did
should
you
know
know
Sawa.
that she played in Fort Collins?
I didn't know that.
So there you
Top.
go. That's like, now we've connected some of the dots, But yeah, Sawa, if you're listening, she would probably remember me. I
Really?
was a big fan. Yeah, of Sawa.
That's cool.
But
I that's what it's about, Like, I think. That's cool to see that she inspired you.
yeah,
like
but
that.
Nakata and stuff. But yeah, she was, wow, really good player. Yeah, so okay, you were in Japan, and then what happened? Like, I don't even know, Koji. Like, what? Like, I don't know what happened. Like, then you moved back here?
I moved back here. Obviously, I was like, okay, Dad and Mom, like, I gotta keep playing.
They're like, okay. Now, and we're like, let's go to Cherry Creek.
Well, that's where, our family was around in, South Denver, Littleton, Centennial, Inglewood area. And, it was a tough ride for me coming back from Japan to the U.S., knowing that, I didn't speak any English. And the only language in some ways were soccer, and for me, playing, you don't really need to speak to each other. You definitely need to communicate and stuff, but you could do it in creative ways to talk to one another. But they put me in tryouts for Cherry Creek Lightning. I don't know if you remember the club, Cherry Creek Lightning, back in the day.
Of course.
And Littleton United. Littleton United praised me, and it was good. I think I made the A team there. But what was really ironic and weird was that the Cherry Creek Lightning team placed me on the C team. I know.
And it's not C for Koji. His name's K. So like C.
I was like, what do you mean? And we, at the time, and there's no disrespect to any clubs here, and I appreciated all the clubs, so there's no hate there.
The C team's not where you belong.
The C team I didn't belong, but I also didn't want to join the Littleton United club at the time. And again, it's nothing that I, against them or anything, and I decided to take the challenge, and I took the C team.
I don't want to go with Littleton either.
Yeah, but I know.
And the Cherry Creek at the time, they were the hot.
They were. So
hot boys. So
I took.
It was hot boy summer over there.
And Rush was big.
But just so you know, also on the east side, the United. It's not Littleton anymore. Now they're called United. But they do a really good job.
I'm sure they are,
especially on the east side. But yeah, I'm surprised because like the A team.
It was the head coach was Mark. I forgot his last name.
Francis.
Mike Francis. And I'm sure he had his ideas on who he wanted and all that stuff, and that's fine. And it's kind of been the story of my life. It's never been given to me, and you always have to work hard for what you really want. And I chose to be with Cherry Creek Lightning and take on the challenge from the C team level. And I had some hard times with it. I think it was something that I was passionate about playing soccer. New country, didn't know how to express how frustrated I was, except for the fact that I just continued to just play hard as I could.
And so what age was that?
That was 10.
10. Yeah. And so what age did you and what age did we meet? Like 12 or like 14 or something?
I think I was closer to somewhere. I was gonna say 13, 14.
13. So but even for a few years, like you didn't really even know the language, or you didn't even have a carpool or any of your buddies and stuff, So
eventually I moved up from C team to the B team, which is great.
Of course.
For whatever reason, I was never able to make the A team, and that's when I switched over to the Real side.
Well, looking back, I would say politics.
As I always say, it's always politics, baby. And I think one of the coaches that we know each other from Mines was what was the goofball's name? The
goofball?
Goofball. He was funny. Fickus. Fickus was a funny guy.
Okay, so Fickus. You've been
Fickus was the one.
Fickus, you just got an episode, future CCA episode. So, anyways, Fickus, I love Fickus. Yeah,
I love Fickus as well. I mean, he made soccer fun. But he's the one that pulled me out from Cherry Creek and told me to join Real A team, and that's where things changed a bit.
Why did he pull you up?
I'm not sure. I think he recognizes the talent. He recognizes the politics. He understood that what he was trying to do at Real was, there's always going to be politics, but I think he really wanted to play the best players out there, and I am pretty sure that he really wanted to beat Mark Francis and the Cherry Creek A team. So
Frank did, but do you think that Ficus remembers you?
Yeah, of course.
I think so too. Yeah. I know that they remember that team, but one of the reasons that I know they remember that team is
which one, Mark or Ficus?
well, of course, the Storm team, like the Storm team with all the guys, Toft, Bukowski, JT, Mari. Well, I don't know if JT was on the Lightning team,
Mario.
but
I do remember Mario.
All the guys, Nick up top, all the guys.
Yeah, the big guy Nick forward. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
they're talented. No, get me wrong.
Well, I know, and I've worked closely with Frank for many years, but and Frank will have an episode, but the Real team that you were on with some of your boys and stuff, I know that was early doors for Real, but then I think that the Arsenal team that me and Banger and them were on, the first time we played, do you remember that?
Was it in Arsenal? Was it in Fort Collins or was it here?
No, actually it was at
Was it in the Heritage?
Heritage, yeah.
Yeah. I don't actually remember.
It was
that,
11-1.
Was it really?
Arsenal.
Was it really?
Yeah. But so anyways, part of the thing was at the they started low or whatever, but then even for not even just for your team, I ended up playing on that team. Banger did too and stuff. Everybody did, but then very quickly Real went from okay, we're getting beat by these teams, but then Ficus, Frank, Neil, Lauren, this club was just starting. There weren't even houses there or anything. It was just
I agree.
the beginning of the club, and they did very quickly go from 11-0 to, and Frank will tell you stories and stuff about having to coach the parents of parents don't carry all of your kids' gear down to the field for them. Let the kids carry it so they learn.
Sure.
Some
The little
character.
thing.
Yeah, the little things. And I know that team that maybe you weren't on the team when we beat you by 11 or something, but Frank and Fick and them were there, and that team ended up being in the national final when we were U17.
Yeah, I remember that. I mean, that was a crazy ride as well. I mean, but
So in 6 or 7 years, you went from losing, by a lot to being in the national championship. When you were 9 or 10, you were just getting the hang of things here in the country. I remember, not always speaking the language as well or getting used to things, but then in a few years, you're playing against Dallas, Texas in the national championship.
yeah, and I think that's probably where our friendship even grew the strongest at the time as well, with you guys commuting for hour 20 minutes each way during the weekdays and tournament days, and you stayed at our place, and then sometimes I come up to Fort Collins games and stay up and stuff, and those are some of the things that I obviously still remember to this day and cherish them because they were really good times. I mean, I don't know how many people really have gone through stuff like that and become so close like that, and I'm just, part of that was the foundation that led to us to where we are today. I really believe that.
And so it's not exactly, we're not on a script, but you were, here's where you're at, but then we got a little bit of how you started, but how did we kind of, cross paths, or, what were some of your earlier memories or things that stand out, from where our journeys, cross paths. And like I said, in the second half, we'll talk more about the champiempionships or maybe, or some of those earlier days where, we're running into each other or tackling or whatever, or
just playing together or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, when we play together, I think one of the things that we did really well
earlier. You know?
Earlier, like before Real,
or like when was the first time that we bumped into each other? How did we meet? Whatever.
I wish. Do you know? Do you have any memories of it? I'm trying to remember my.
Go for it.
I know I'm the guest. I'm trying to remember it. I mean, I just knew we got a new coach, right? And Sean Kamaji, and and I'm sure he'll get an episode as well. And
yep, Sean, you'll get an episode.
And I didn't really know what to expect, to be honest with you, because we just moved on from Ficus, and we ultimately was given Sean, who had a really good reputation coming from Fort Collins and stuff, and I knew that there were some players that were going to come from Fort Collins, which I maybe had some ideas of who or what, and obviously politics say you kind of just keep them guessing, and you don't know exactly who's coming or not, and it ended up being you and Chris Banghart
and Calvin
Bailey.
Actually, I didn't even go yet, but Banger, yeah.
And
Chris Banghart, Calvin Bailey, Ryan, Dion,
Boober Hall.
Yeah. But I actually went up an entry with Arsenal. I stayed. I went with Nick Whitworth and Connor Tobin.
Oh, really?
And I played one more year. Yeah. And then that group all went down also. Like we put it together and went down there. Tobin, Nick Whitworth, those guys. But
and to be real honest, I don't remember the first tackle or the first practice I had with you guys. Like I kind of just had a really open mind to you guys coming in, and this is kind of where it related to me being a newcomer, as from someone that came from Japan, and it kind of reminded me of those times a little bit of like, okay, well, how would it feel for someone like Izzy, someone like Banger, someone like Dion to come from up north and traveling so much. Like I kind of at the early stage understood the hard work that you guys committed to, and why I think we reconnected so early on is because I kind of understood that, because man, I wouldn't know how it would felt if I was just some player that was like, oh, you guys, I did know, but you guys after school drove hour and 15 in traffic, maybe more, every single day.
Those days,
and the joke now is that I'm driving up, which is I'm paying the dues.
Yeah.
I'm paying those tabs right now that you guys drove down to, and I'm happy to do it. It's not a complaint, because I don't complain once when I come up. Like I know there's Fort Collins players right now in the men's league that are like, that might not show up, and I'm driving an hour and 15. I don't even complain about it because I'm paying the dues, which I don't even want to complain about because I enjoy it so much. But I think for me, those are some of the things that I remember you guys coming back down and respected a lot of the efforts and the time and all the hard work that you guys put into just to be at practice.
Yeah.
And I think from there on, it just kind of continued to grow more and more as far as our friendship goes and as far as being teammates go.
Yeah, that's true. We have been teammates for a long time. Yeah, and we had ODP and stuff. I think, I could tell you a few of the earlier memories. I just remember that we were ODP and so, like, I remember Frickus and Frank and everybody. Obviously, Sean was here in Fort Collins, but Yeah, I don't remember you really from the Cherry Creek Lightning days, but
No.
I don't have the memory like Miguel. Miguel, you'll get an episode, but Miguel, what I mean, he knows every. He should have his own podcast.
He has. I mean, he's gonna tell you all the
I
play
can't
by
remember
plays.
every single thing and stuff, or like how many goals you scored in this game. Like I'm not at some games I do remember, but not every player or practice.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, one of the things I remember about you is that you were still just working on your English, and like I think Chris and I were helping you with some of like the word, like the pronunciations of the words and
Yes.
stuff, and so I remember ODP, just hanging out. I remember some of the games and stuff, but yeah, let's see how much time we have here. So we're right in there, but let's hear about ODP, or like, let's hear about ODP, but then you talked about Ficus, but were there any older players, and maybe that's the ODP guys, but like, were there any older players that you kind of looked to, or like, that's how I could be, or something?
Like someone that I
Or
looked
coaches,
up to, or
influences, role
Like-
models, or like, or players that you kind of modeled yourself, or okay, like if I do what he does, then
I think
and John, like, is John the one?
the worm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, in some ways, John, for sure. We didn't really cross too many paths. We definitely crossed paths on the field, but
Like
too
a
many
couple
paths.
side tackles.
Here and there stuff, but I just kind of remember John. He was always 100%, 110% guy.
Yeah.
He always gave it all, which I respect. I remember looking out to, definitely, as a defender and admiring the hard tackles. I personally have even experienced some of the hard tackles from Connor Tobin and stuff that I was I always never really understood how he could keep tackling the way that he kept tackling, and just had that mental mindset. Like I think someone that I was just always like, okay, well, even I'm sure you remember practicing with the age up, what it felt like to be tackled by him. And I did look up to him.
I don't think he ever got me, though.
He never got you once?
I don't think so. I don't think he's ever got me, but
That's probably good.
well, Nick brought him up as well, so I feel bad for all of the opponents, but maybe we have to have a different category for, maybe he's in like the baller alert, like
No, I agree.
certified fullback or whatever, or center back, but and he was older, fun to watch. Any others that you looked at, or coaches or anything?
Coaches,
Like when you were young,
like, are you talking way more older, or are you talking just like who I
No,
played with?
actually,
or
anytime. Like influences in your game,
influences?
Well, like Connor was a good influence, obviously, for everybody. But any others like that? Or like Cherry Creek High School, you had the hairdo. Everybody had the hairdo and stuff.
I didn't love that, by the
Like,
way.
what about Taylor or somebody? Taylor.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, no, I respected like their games and stuff. I think it's someone that I enjoyed playing with. To be honest with you, Taylor LaVoy.
Yeah.
There's Cameron. There was like
Cameron,
Reed, Geyser and stuff.
Yep.
And this is not like, it's not someone that I like wanted to be. Again, it's someone that I was like, okay, I enjoyed playing with. As far as coaches goes, I don't know. I think, like, in a weird way, I think there is some missing at the time, going from high school to maybe potentially going to college and all that stuff, and I'm sure we'll get into that. That part was missing for me. You know, I wish that I had a little bit more of, you know, someone, and I'm not talking about like a professional player that's like 5, 6, or 7 years older than me, but like I wish that there was those kind of coaches or players that I was like a little bit more, you know, admiring and looking up to growing up. But maybe that was a weird time in the soccer culture for us. I think it was shifting and trying to be in the growth phase, and we unfortunately, I mean, I you know, a lot of the times that we look at some of the resources that's here today, we wish that it was a little bit more today, was there back then. But you know, I see it as like we were kind of in that mix of that growth, just the cusp of it, you know, and then, you know, it started to grow a little bit after that. But you know, as you know, like after that, like we also went our separate ways into college as well. I mean, I missed not playing with you guys. It was kind of weird, but I took on the challenge of going into George Mason for that freshman year, and you know, obviously you went to DU, which, you know, that was a different path for me. That, you know, as I kind of earlier on in the first half talked about why I love the game today. I think, you know, that's when I started to hit my wall of why I was a little bit more burnt out, knowing that, you know, the program itself was a little tough, and the soccer itself was, you know, and I felt like it was in a tough spot at the time. So, but glad that my relationship with soccer today is where it is today.
Nice. And then, could you tell the story? I'm just taking my time, but could you tell the story of Frank?
Which
you
one?
Crossed up a ref, like, you know.
Yeah, of course.
Well,
I don't know.
I could just preface that ODP has changed a little bit in the time that Koji and I were playing. They didn't have like academy. They didn't have the ECNL. They didn't have ECNL RL. They didn't have US Youth National Team camps. They didn't have ID centers and stuff. So the main things you would do is club, high school, and ODP. And then ODP was by age group. So for example, me and Koji are 87 births.
And you know, you do ODP in the summertime.
There are tryouts, but yeah, it's a select group, and then you go to regional camp and stuff like that. And so that was one of the pathways. And then high school was obviously very competitive. You know, Cherry Creek, Fort Collins High School, these were very competitive. And then we had our club, so
it was different times for sure.
It was different. It's just
I thought ODP was a very high level soccer at the time. You know, in your age group, you get selected to be, you know, the best of Colorado or best of Arizona, California, Oregon, etc. And you know, we were lucky enough to be selected as top players in Colorado, and each year we got different coaches. I remember our first time we might have gotten maybe Eric Bouchard, or I forgot his name with the long
Boucher, but I don't think that was our first year. He was our fourth year, I think.
It wasn't?
Or third year, but anyways.
And then, you know, the year after that we got Frank, which we like Frank. You know, and we ended up taking a very high. At the time, I thought it was the top.
You know what they say about Frank?
What they say?
He's Frank.
He is Frank.
He's very
Frank.
Well, he's Frank, like he tells the truth. Like
he's very upfront.
Yeah.
Very blunt. We took, in my opinion, I don't know how you feel, but I felt like we took
speak freely, but
I think I felt like we took one of the best ODP Colorado teams out there in a very long time.
Who were some of those guys?
I remember CJ, Sandoval, one. Was it Orozco or
Yeah.
Obia?
It was.
Oberon.
Yeah.
I think we took Bangor that year as well.
Playing up.
We pulled him up from 86 to 87.
88.
88. That's right. Yeah, sorry. I think we had
Tobin.
Connor Tobin. I don't know if Kellen Johnson was on there.
He was.
Some of the top players. Zach
Toft.
Burns.
Toft. Burns. Who are the Colorado Springs guys, like the...
Aside from CJ and Burns. But, you know, it was, to me, one of the highest levels of like, growth for me. You know, just going to this camp in Portland, Oregon, and, you know, we lived and breathed.
Greenfield guys too, Ryan White, and then who was the, you know, his dad was awesome. Was it like Chris Garcia, or what was his name? Garcia? But who are the Colorado Springs guys? Like Bo, and then there was the other guy, Bo, one or two other guys. But remember Bo?
Yeah, I do.
Bo's dad was like, he worked at his dad was assistant at Air Force or whatever. But Bo, and they went to Miramar. But anyways, I'm throwing another log on. Go ahead. So the Frank.
Well, anyways, I think we were playing. You know, to be really honest, do you remember who we were playing?
I don't know. Maybe
It could be Arizona. It could be.
I mean, we were dominating, right?
And
I mean that team you just told me, that's pretty stellar squad.
it's stacked out.
Yeah.
It's stacked out.
And that's, I mean, that was kind of before the academy and stuff, you know. So before now they have MLS Next or something, you know. That was kind of like the elite. But good.
Yeah, we took the best players for that age group and younger and pulled them up. But you know, we were playing an exhibition game for the ODP tournament, and we were called for a PK. In my opinion, was very soft, but I instinctively and probably, you know, I shouldn't have said this, and I've learned a lot since from this moment, but I yelled out saying that this is fucking bullshit. Yes.
Okay, guys, we maybe have to censor this episode now, but okay. So you said
Anyways, the referee gave me a yellow card.
Okay.
In which Frank did not recognize. Maybe he was paying attention to the bench, or who knows, and he didn't see the fact that I was booked for a yellow card.
Yeah.
Okay?
And not much gets past Frank, you know.
Not much at the time. And what's crazy is that...
Hopefully he didn't get past him.
And what also didn't get past him was that Zach Burns saved that PK. And that we were okay, and we ended up winning the game. And at the end of the game, we were doing our cool downs. The ref came over, asking Frank to sign the kind of the waiver or the final signature to say this game's complete, and that whatever that's recorded is correct. And he takes a look at the.
I'm probably like icing my calves.
Yeah, maybe. And he looks at
I'm
it.
probably like, okay, I'm pretty sore because I played that.
And
got a nice win. Me and Burns, maybe we're getting a Snickers pack or something.
Yeah,
Back at the
for
dorms.
sure. You guys are, we're vibing. We're happy. We got the win. And Frank, the only thing he points out is, what is this yellow card? And he looks at my yellow card. And the ref explained the yellow card to Frank.
Oh my gosh.
And at the time, I was, you know, I knew I was already guilty. I knew what he was going to do. And then he ended up signing the booklet to allow the referees to go back to his next steps or whatever, and then he comes over to me and basically tells me that my behavior was unacceptable, and that I was asked to do by myself sprints with Calvin. I don't know if you remember Calvin.
Yeah, I do. Bailey?
Norman.
Oh, Kelvin. Yeah.
He was the
Rest in
assistant.
peace.
He was the rest in peace. He was the assistant for Frank at the time, and I still remember him, and he was the one that was the classic assistant to say don't get mad, just do what you're told, and I understand why you might have said some things, but this is a lesson learned for you, and that let's just complete these sprints and let's move on. It was definitely a lesson learned.
Yep.
And I, to this day, still, obviously I get heated. Everyone gets heated. But I've learned to really not go that crazy with refs. I don't know if you do.
Not really, no.
No?
I used to when I was younger, but no, not really anymore.
Not even bail? Nothing?
I mean,
I know.
It's not my podcast, but
I'm just saying, I think
I've only been red carded one time from any competition,
that's true.
playing or coaching. So yeah, sometimes
but
I probably push
that was
them,
my
but,
the yellow card experience that Frank taught me a lot of lesson on. That was, it was a good discipline moment for me, but also a very a good moment to learn from.
Yeah, and Frank, you probably got back to the dorms and then we're just chilling, having some fruit snacks, but then you're like, oh man, I got whatever, but also, yeah, I mean, I coached with Frank and I saw many behind the scenes of, he doesn't miss that much, and then he is a very good teacher of the lessons. So you got trapped that one time, but yeah, I've heard, okay, this player did this and this and this, and it might be 3 or 4 days before the player finds out about what the error was, but he will be learning his lesson soon. So yeah, even there, Frank, very good teacher of lessons. And yeah, you don't want to
Dreams come to life. Time goes on, dreams come to life. Time goes on, dreams come to life. So there's always time to settle down. Somebody moving around.
Okay, just got out of the halftime. We got the whiteboard out. We were doing some tactics. Koji was showing me where he wants me to be. He's trying to get in it. He's trying to get up the field a little bit.
Just so that I want you to score some more goals.
That's what we all want. Yeah, everybody wants that. Yeah, we were in there. I had a few orange slices.
For sure. I had a few beers.
Yeah, the green room tonight is a little bit quieter than usual, but it's a Sunday night, and yeah, we also want to make sure we got the fireplace here going, so it's kind of peaceful out right now. Coach is big on throwing some logs down on the fire.
Coziness.
And then we haven't poured up on the whiskey yet, but Koji, let's pour up on his whiskey, man.
So, Town Branch.
Town Branch, yep. Like we said in Laurel, this is at Town Branch, but Lexington, well, Kentucky.
Yeah, we had some good times there.
Yeah.
Played some. What was that game that we played?
Was it a drinking game?
It was a
Free kick.
Oh, we played free kicks for sure.
True touch?
No, it was an indoor. We played at your apartment.
Oh, Settlers of Catan.
Yeah, we played that a little bit.
My sister Eve loves that game.
Yeah,
The Stanford boys love the Catan. Yeah, that's true.
always a good time. We played
We
that
were
a
carving
little bit.
pumpkins. We were carving some pumpkins. We did a tour. We did a distillery tour of Woodford.
That was
Right?
cool
Was
too.
it Woodford?
It was Woodford. We
And I love the Buffalo Trace, but yeah, if any of you guys listening out there, we need some bourbon sponsorship. Fireside here at Smith Street, the green room, the studio, the cabana,
You
A
know,
fire pit, like we could use just some sponsorship. You know what I mean?
I agree.
The upcoming guests, maybe, you know, maybe we can get some things worked out for them with, like, Town Branch or Odell's, whoever, like we were talking about. But yeah, anyways, we heard some of Koji's
Early days.
current state. We got a couple Frank stories, which are good. Connor Tobin obviously is a big influence in a lot of people, you know, for a lot of people, so maybe he'll get a super episode. But yeah, Koji, here we're gonna talk about like some of those highlights and stuff, but can you tell me about this ball?
Oh, the special Gio Merlin. This was the ball. As you know, growing up, everyone thought, you know, practicing game balls often was selected as that. You know, some of my fond memories of the Gio Merlin was, you know, who had the most Merlin?
Who did?
You know,
Zach Burns in this?
Zach Burns and them, you know, one of the ODP goalies, you know, going out to certain tournaments. I'm not going to say where, you know, nighttime, things are getting a little dark. Suddenly, certain teams or maybe certain tournament officials, you know, may have lost those Joe Merlins because, well, they were a hot commodity.
Do you remember Nike Town?
Yeah, I do. I do remember Nike Town. I do remember. I remember a lot of goals. It even in the Premier League being scored on with these Merlin goals. That I just thought this was and it still is to me one of the top soccer balls to be ever created. It's always it lights me up when I see one. Especially definitely when you showed it to me.
I forgot to start the clock, but we're still live. But go ahead.
It's definitely one of my favorite balls of all time.
Yeah. And we're still rolling, even though I just started the clock. But
yeah.
What was it like when we went up there to Nike Town, and then we saw like the cage field and stuff?
It reminded me of those commercials that we used to watch. I thought we were part of that. You know, I thought we were
going up against.
I thought I was Nakata. You know, I thought I was you know, Roberto Carlos. We were gonna do a commercial scene or something. But yeah, this is something that you know, if I were to pick a ball, I would pick this over all the other balls that even today that they make. And they make great balls now too, but you know, this got some good memories for me.
Yeah. And me too, obviously, but we're still kicking around with the Merlins over here at Smith
I know. This one, you know, we don't kick it as much because we want to keep it as fresh.
we
But
still
do.
do.
We
Yeah,
still
we still
do.
kick it. But over here at Smith Street too, the kids are coming over for backyard parties. We're getting the ball in the mix, passing down stories from generations. And then Koji, you know, some of the maybe highlights you've had, like the national championship, you know, with Real,
Yeah,
or
for sure.
you know, maybe some of the top teams you out with Cherry Creek, some of the top ODP teams you know played on. But yeah, I mean, you're such a excellent player, and you know, just walk around town. Not everybody always realizes, you know, the credentials that you've earned in the game.
Yeah, and I like to keep it low key.
Yeah,
I really do. I don't think sometimes that, you know, I don't need to be recognized that way, or you know, sometimes maybe they might recognize it when they get tackled by me on the field or whatever, you know, and I'll be like, oh, wake up. You know, it's not that this is the first time I've been playing, you know. So, but
well, take me through some of like
Some of my favorite moments. You know, I'll pick one of my favorite moments that I had with you, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
It's you know, it's a year that it was a very interesting year. I think, you know, it was a successful year for us as a Real club member. We actually didn't win the State Cup that year. I don't know if you remember that.
I do.
You know, the team that we played, Rush, was disqualified for some of the behaviors that they made and whatever. And then, you know, that's, you know, again, the decisions that were made were not based on us. You know, we didn't win that State Cup final, but we qualified to go to the regional team and ended up winning the regional to go to nationals in Florida. But my favorite memory I've had, and this is still, I don't know why it stuck with me, is it was our first regional game against Hawaii. I was a bit nervous. You know, it's not, you know, every day that you play a regional game, and it was a very tight game. I don't know if it was 0-0 or maybe it was 1-1 at the time. But I had a ball that was played to me.
I played it.
I think it was Collin that played it. And smart Collin plays the ball. He moves right afterwards, heading towards the box. All I knew was that I had to make sure I got to the ball, and that I had to cross the ball for the goal. And sure enough, I got to the ball and crossed it. Pretty good cross, by the way. And I remember you rose up pretty well as well too to get to that ball, and
It was a diving header.
He scored.
Yeah.
Only to find out
Yeah.
that the referee, the linesman, called it, the ball went over the touchline, and it was a goal kick that took the goal away, and ultimately, you know, I was upset at the linesman for calling it, and obviously I wanted the goal and I wanted to win, but you know, the call was the call, and that we ended up tying 0-0, which wasn't the worst, you know, first game result. Obviously we wanted the full points, but
Did it go out though?
you know, in my opinion, it was going fast, but it did not. I didn't feel that it didn't, but where I obviously,
You were closer. You know, you were
I
closer.
was close, but
So the
one
pass
of the-
is not as, my pass is not as good as we thought.
no, the pass was good.
It was
Maybe I didn't run
overhit.
far,
It was
whatever.
overhit
But
a little bit.
When we, one of the things that I knew that you know, that confirmed the fact, and it wasn't the linesman that I believed, but Doug was at the game.
Yeah, it was. He thought that was a goal.
He thought so, but I actually did talk to Doug, and then he later on told me that he actually told me that it was out.
No,
He did.
he didn't say
He
that.
told me directly. I remember
I've
having
never
a
heard this
conversation.
before. I've never heard
Yes,
this before.
he told me directly that Koji, that
The whole
went-
ball?
Yes.
No.
That he told me that was out of bounds. And maybe, you know, and it wasn't. It was memorable to me because it was a great our moment,
Yeah.
regional and stuff, and then also Doug was there on the sideline, and I know Doug hangs out on that kind of corner
Yeah, he
spot.
does, yeah.
So he told me that it was out, and I didn't blame the linesman. I didn't bring any of the refs. But then when Doug told me that, I accepted it and I moved on. And it didn't matter because we ended up winning the regional and went to the national finals and, you know, got second place and all that stuff. But that was one of my favorite memories for whatever reason, even though it was a disallowed goal that I've had with you because I don't know. It was it's something that I remember.
I had no idea that you were going to bring that up. But yeah, I would say that was one of the better goals that was like never us scored or something.
We were talking about
like that. Yeah, wasn't ever. And I thought now we're in there, and then now we're up 1-0, and everything's good, and like now we're gonna be
winning the whole
tide
time
and stuff, and then. One of the next games we played, I remember one of the things we were trying to focus on was like, if we score and stuff, just like celebrate the maximum. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I kind of do. I kind of do.
Like within reason, but then we played Cal. I think Cal South at Cal North the next game.
And they had a reputation.
Yeah. And then we did open the scoring, and then I remember the celebrations were just mad, but it kind of gave us that boost. Do you remember? Yeah. And so sometimes those little things, but I agree. One of my favorite moments, but then also I remember like I said, I think it was Byron or somebody like that scored, and the celebrations were, I guess these days they would say lit or something, but we were just, it was crazy. Sure. And then, that too was, okay, like, then we did end up going to the regional championship, but maybe I'll talk about, but also just we scored, but,
for sure.
How much it meant to everybody and what everybody showed in their energy and emotion.
I didn't remember that.
So, but what else is in there?
There's some of the additional comments that, for that, I went to that final, and I don't know if you remember, but
the regional final?
Regional final. It was the regional final. I don't know if you remember, but I wasn't actually supposed to play that final, because I had too many yellow cards. And,
from what, talking refs?
No, not this time. I think they were just, hard tackles that I was making. Maybe it was too hard of a tackle, or whatever. I actually was not. I had too many yellow cards, and I was supposed to be suspended for that game. For whatever reason, the referees didn't have their stuff together, and we took the chance to bypass that and say that, Koji were playing. Which was another...
so they did the math wrong or something? Or?
I don't know if they calculated it right, or they recorded it correctly or not, but I ended up me playing for the final, risking the fact that, maybe we could have been disqualified if I did play or whatever. But we didn't play that final.
This is the Doug saying is out of bounds, and then this that you're.
I know.
This is the first time.
And we were even supposed to be in the regional tournament to begin with.
Correct.
So, leading up to that.
And
guys,
who we
played?
at this point in time, we don't have like a fact checker, so some of this
we can't go back in time.
Well, maybe we will be able to with more interviews in the future, but I cannot confirm any of this, but yes. Like Nick, he got, like, he couldn't out a fifth state cup.
He claims it.
Yeah, like when he was 10, but we allowed it. Like, it's like, okay, it's allowed, so yeah. But these are to me these are unconfirmed. These are the first time.
Yeah, I understand, but to me it's confirmed, and
doesn't mean it's not true, but doesn't mean it's not true.
Yeah, but regardless, we ended up winning, and we qualified for the national final, which was one of the cooler experiences that I've had at an early age.
Yeah,
and being able to play against some of the top teams in the nation was a learning curve and a big growth. For me, for sure. And I feel like we bonded and we got closer together as a team, going to these traveling tournaments, especially in Florida.
Recruiting and everything.
But that was some of the most memorable kind of times that I think, I could recall.
That was also the first time that a Real team had won a regional championship. Yeah, we were the first team to do it. Nick and Connor's team, like Julian, those guys, Sean, Neil was coaching that team, I think, but
They won as well, right?
They did win, but they won like later in the day.
Right.
So then
We were the first.
Yeah, we were the first, and then those are the first two teams from Real to qualify for a national championship. But we were the first,
Yeah.
Go ahead.
We also, you know, again,
I'm already filling this town branch, man. I
Yeah.
just chug it like it's.
water.
I mean, wine's like juice for me, but the town branch is just so good. So town branch, if you're listening, please send refills. Like we'll support you guys over here.
Some
keep
of the
you
other
guys-
memories that maybe I could kind of attest to is, again, the ODP years of, you know, we talked about me, you know, getting that yellow card and Frank teaching me a hard lesson and stuff. But we talked about the fact that we brought some of the best players. To me, you know, I remember having some of the top tier players, and that team was pretty stacked. And
I think, you know, Google is listening, like I said, but they probably are listening, but we don't have the stats. But I think that 3 out of our 4 ODP years, we went to the regional semifinal or better. So even in our region, our little Colorado team was one of the best. You know? So
we were
Cal South, Cal North, Washington.
They might be listening,
Oregon.
but you know,
They probably are listening. Yeah.
one of the things is that
But either way,
we ended up winning that ODP
Colorado
tournament.
The Colorado group was very good. Yeah, a lot of very good players and very good coaches and community. And that's what we're trying to.
We pushed each
That's
other
part of
hard.
what the CCA podcast is trying to eliminate. You know.
But
I don't want to. So let's get back to that national championship. You know.
for sure, that national team. I mean that was a cool experience. I think we didn't know what to expect. I will say, you know, it was a round robin.
I can tell you one thing.
We expected heat because we had to train on the turf in our full warm-ups. Remember?
I remember. I'm pretty sure Miguel threw up.
Probably.
I'm pretty sure Miguel threw up because
The goalie.
the goalie couldn't keep up. That's okay. Goalie, they're not supposed to keep up.
Miguel, you're gonna get an episode. Miguel, you might get your own. You might take over the podcast soon. Once you hear about these, Miguel knows everybody.
Well, we train hard. I mean, our coaches, you know, fitness-wise, pushed us to the maximum, if not over the max. Yeah.
Did you have abs?
Yeah, of course. I mean, I think, probably our best shape of our lives.
I don't think I had abs still, but
You still, yeah, I know. Probably
maybe like
not.
2 up top and not down low.
The low is a little flat and stuff. But I mean, we were prepared or tried to. You know, we ended up losing to a very good team.
Yeah.
And you know, we don't like to admit losses, but you know, we lost to a better team in the Dallas Texans and matched up against a very good. I mean, we were beat. Not to say that we didn't have our chances and such, but we probably had less of it. But we were the clear number 2 at the time. But you know.
And at that time, so the top 4 went, and then the top 4 went to Disney World.
Yep. Round robin.
Everybody played each other once, and the top 2 played each other again. So we did smash Michigan.
Yeah, I do remember that.
I don't remember who that. New Jersey or some bullshit or whatever.
Yep.
But Dallas, it is confirmed. They beat us in the round robin 2-0, fair and square, and they beat us. Then they beat us in the final 2-0 as well. So yeah, we tried our hardest, and then they were better. There were some guys on that team, Andre Akban. I currently work in the MLS competition department
Andre is one of the main people in the MLS.
Really?
competition.
I didn't know that. You're still
That's how I got my job there, was through Andre, you know. And I said,
And you
man,
play for the Texans.
and he was a striker in the Texans, yeah. And I said, man, like, if we got our third try, we would lose 2-0.
Probably true.
And it's true, yeah. They were just too good for us, but we, overperformed, had a lot of fun. And, you know, from there, we also got a lot of our recruiting out of that year. You know, obviously there were big colleges watching us there. And, you know, many good times. But yeah, we're getting close here with the time period. So, Koji, I want to move into, this is going to be, you know, the fan favorite. Most people, they're going to skip forward to this anyways. But let's break into your starting 11, all right?
Okay. That's totally cool with me.
Where's the tactic board?
Right here.
So, here we are. That's what you
So
get
white
in the
one.
mix.
Okay. Let's do it then.
And so, guys, there's basically no preface for this. You know, it's just Koji's team
My
of
11. My favorite 11.
Yep. And it's, guys, it's, yeah, I mean, if you're a, you know, it's not for Frank Lampard or, you know, somebody like that, maybe.
Guidier? You don't think Guidier?
I don't think, well, I mean, he's
I
probably
know,
on
I
your
know.
11, but it's supposed to be
It's
kind
more,
of on your journey,
relational.
players that you played with or players that you've seen,
For sure. I
or,
agree.
maybe you're in it, maybe you're not, you know, maybe you're the coach, maybe you're the player manager, you know, maybe there's a specific formation or some subs that you want, maybe it's Cherry Creek High School or your Japanese guy, you know, maybe Sawa's that attacking mid or whatever, but
For sure. Well, let me kind of just start off by, you know, the anchor in the goalkeeping area. I do want to put our favorite Miguel, and I think he earned that spot. You know, I think he could still work on his feet a little bit here and
I'm just
there.
making sure it works. But yeah, okay, so Miguel, you got
I got
a
you in
future
there.
episode, you made your starting 11, and then maybe you can have your own CCA podcast. Miguel's favorites or Miguel's homies or whatever, you know.
For sure, and
The
you know,
Miguels.
maybe Miguel. You know, I think we've gone through enough battles in our lifetime to kind of prove some of the tough saves that I've seen him make. Incredible goalkeeper. You know, I'm sorry, Zach Burns, if you ever watch, you know, you're right there. So
Yeah, Zach Burns, like maybe you're right there according to Koji.
yeah,
Yeah, this is not my starting 11, this is
for
Koji's.
sure.
One thing about Miguel is, like, besides his memory, but yeah, he is like a, you know, he is a beast.
And how does he remember every play?
I'm not sure how he did. But, like, he does remember, spelling and some of the other stuff, but, like, he
He'll be
remembers.
like, oh, remember
Yeah,
that
the
one
memory
time on
is
the
high.
39th minute? I'm
He would
like,
be-
what?
Yeah, he would be editing all of this, like, let's talk about that. I don't remember all of those things, but, one thing about Miguel is, when I was in high school, my team won the state championship, you know? I was probably not the best player in the state or something, but I was voted state player of the year, runner up, even though my team won the state championship.
Runner up.
Yeah, and I was
Behind
captain.
him.
Miguel.
So that's why he's in there. My
So,
dog.
Very-
Very vocal as well. He's very vocal.
One of the awards, that I didn't win was this one was Player of the Year, at high school Player of the Year, and so he did win it. And so I was second or whatever. I ended up getting the main trophy, but still one I can't get back is Player of
No.
the Year for the
But-
Chassid.
But you're saying a lot of respect.
Yeah, a lot of respect, and obviously the coaches and the other players and stuff thought that he was better than me, even though my team and stuff like that they won the championship. But anyways, go ahead. He has nice side punts and
Yeah, I agree.
Bilingual.
I'm gonna go shift over to the center backs. Very important, obviously to keep clean sheets, maybe set pieces.
Okay.
What's
the main formation?
The format? And you'll see it as it builds up. Okay. We're gonna have a back four line, as I think you would have expected, but in the center back, I think we're gonna have Chris Banghart, one of my favorite of all time. I'm gonna bring him on this side actually. Physically dominant.
Mm-hmm.
From a character standpoint, I can't ask for much more than Chris. I think he definitely leads by example. If I could pick as a traveling roommate, I would be Banghart. And again, I played alongside with him for many years, and he saved my ass many times, as if it wasn't even a big deal for him. And there's a lot of respect on that side. I've seen him also make some of the hardest tackles that I probably would have never been one to be part of. So I think that's an easy choice for me.
Well, Banger, Chris, he was over here last week and for my birthday and stuff with the little kids, but he's so gentle with, he's a dad and he's so gentle, but he's such a giant. And but yeah, also his first touch. But we need to maybe come up with a category, because Connor Tobin's been mentioned by someone, the guests, but then Chris Banghart is the first. Well, Connor, I don't know if Connor's gonna make the starting 11, but he did make both episodes, and then Banger's the first one we have here to make both starting 11s so far. So maybe we need to have a tally sheet with a whiteboard of starting 11s made, or something.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, Chris is obviously gonna have an episode, and like I said to Nick, Chris and I, we also have a company, the Tri-City Athletes. That's the company that we own here in town. Yeah, Super Beast bet. Not surprised.
Not surprised at all. I think again, on the other side of the center backs, will be Connor Tobin for sure. Again, I've seen him murder some people. And also, I just think instinctively he knew where to be and a rock to have in the back line.
Yeah.
So.
I'm not gonna critique either of those, because both of them could murder me. Also.
Yeah. And luckily we have both been.
I'm just gonna move Burns out of there. Burns, you're ready to go if you need it.
Yeah, he's ready. He's fine.
So you got the two. These two are solid. Maybe you don't even need fullbacks or anything.
No, we could probably operate, but because we're
6
gonna
midfielders or something.
Yeah, for sure. But
it seems like they got it. And if needed, if we're down, maybe it's they're up here, and Miguel is the side. He loves that side pump. He does, he does, right?
Yeah.
And then it'd be knock it down, tackle the goalie.
Oh my god.
But yeah, just they keep it there. They lock it down. I don't know that anybody's gonna get past those two. So
Those two, no. And then on the left side, I think I'm gonna put my brother Kenji.
Yeah, we didn't talk about Kenji much in the podcast, but go
No, but we grew up playing
Yeah.
a lot together, and I think he was also a solid soccer player growing up, and we played a lot, just competing with each other. We've always been competitive between the two, and he's also a very good team player.
Yes.
And he would be someone that I would like to have him in the back line as well. So it would be Kenji on the left, and then obviously on the right will be me. So that's...
How will Kenji respond to Connor feedback?
Very well. I really think he would be very. I I think he would appreciate
Receptive?
it a lot, knowing how much of support that he's going to be getting on this side. But also, I think it would be, reciprocated between Connor and Kenji, just working together. But I think it'll work really well. This back line to me is a pretty good starting point.
This is nice. And Miguel too. It's nice foundation.
Right.
And so, is it gonna be more like he's gonna be this kind of mid-city?
No, of course not. He will be a traditional fullback.
Oh, okay.
Traditional fullback for sure.
Will you be more of like the?
I think I would try and lean a little bit more, but we would be. I would say we will be protecting the house very much so with this back four.
Yeah. I would not want to rock up against it, but
not many goals will be scored in this from this.
And you have also this one, that like it could go,
Of course.
So maybe these guys do stay home because like he could play that, bigger ball. Connor's maybe would be if Toby was hitting it, it might be like out of bounds.
That's okay, but again,
no,
we're not going to be scored on.
Yeah.
Right?
We'll keep it 0-0.
We're going to be clean sheet. 0-0 worst case.
I like it. I like it.
Okay. We're going to go in the mid.
Okay.
In the midfielder, we're going to have, as a holding mid, we're going to have Roger.
Okay. Yeah.
As we already kind of called it out.
Are you sure with Roger? Because, I mean, he's only like NCAA champion, MLS champion, and he played in the World Cup. Oh, and FA Cup
champion.
And he played in a World Cup and a Copa America. So, are you sure about Raj?
I think, for me, I'm very sure. I don't know about you. I don't know what starting lineup you were thinking of.
I'm not us.
You're definitely, but I given just even us practicing with him, and I've seen him humiliate players like Georgie Carmichael.
Georgie, if you're listening, you can have an episode.
You can have an episode too.
Yeah.
Maybe.
You can. If you're mentioned in this episode, you can have an episode. But yeah, maybe Georgie's starting 11 is gonna need a little bit of like, we're gonna have to have some coaching on the sideline to help out. Well,
I agree.
yeah, Roger, just absolute class. Top. I mean, I remember hopefully if we can afford him, we'll get an episode with him. But even 2 years ago, like when I was in San Jose, I was doing the match day, and it was San Jose versus Kansas City, and that was the last season before he retired. But he sent me his jersey and stuff like that afterwards. And yeah, I mean, what a fucking class
Top
guy.
down.
Everything. Amazing player, every single level. Everybody knows it. And yeah, I mean, many times I'm jealous of that guy, you know what I mean? But unbelievable.
What a career, too. What a career.
And I mean, who even needs defenders like if we have Roger?
That's what I'm saying. I mean, we already have the back four that's already
It's
laid
looking
down.
good.
It's looking good.
I have to tell you, this lineup's looking, I mean, versus Nick's fun team, like this is looking pretty solid.
Sure.
It's looking pretty solid.
Okay. Yeah, and should be, I have to find.
But maybe there's some
Roger's
cracks. Maybe there's some cracks.
Perhaps.
Maybe there's some cracks in this.
Perhaps.
Yeah, there could be a few cracks.
But as the partner, I think I'm gonna have you. Collin is. And I think that's a good partnership in there. Again, we're gonna be protecting the goal.
Yeah.
But I think you're gonna find a great outlet going. We haven't even gotten to the attackers yet. But I think you'll see some of the supporting cast that you're gonna be getting. But
yeah.
Playing with you for forever. I think sometimes we even speak about. I didn't even know I didn't even have to know where you were. I just knew where you were.
Yeah, and that's true. We have always had a little
Telepathic.
connection of playing with each other. I agree.
So.
And you can go in there too, but yeah, I mean if you're putting if you're putting Roger in there, then anybody can play with them as well. Well, Roger left-footed, can play a bunch of different positions. I'm a little bit more right-footed, but yeah, this is looking pretty solid, Koji. So
Yeah.
curious. My calves are normally cramping around the fucking 70th, so yeah, maybe I need maybe there's somebody on this, honorable mention that can go in there, but I'm curious what this is. Is this the Deserby, like we play through here, to suck them in, and then we play wide, or what's this,
Yeah, for sure.
Or is it, and then, like, what's that, and then I'm staying and stuff?
Yeah, and
Like,
that'll
I'm going,
that'll naturally kind of get
the
figured.
pocket, but
For sure. But I think right now we're gonna keep. Yeah, this is the defender.
that's the ball.
Oh, that's the
Yeah.
ball.
The defenders are the Reds are the defenders.
Yeah. And then for me, I think we're gonna keep it going. I personally always enjoyed it. I mean, I don't think everyone. This is someone that you're probably never going to expect that I will say, but on this side, it's gonna be Nick Blanco.
Oh no, I love Blanco, yeah.
I think
Blanco, if you're listening, you can get an episode.
you could definitely get an episode. I
Yeah.
don't know where you're at, but I've been personally taught by Blanco before.
Mhm.
I don't know if you have, but I think he would be a great winger to partner with Kenji as well, because he'll probably support it pretty well. He gets a reputation. I think he's definitely a risk of maybe getting a red card.
Mhm. It could be, yeah.
It could be, but sometimes you need a little spice. Sometimes you need a little Roy Keane in that lineup.
Mhm.
So I'm gonna put Nick on the left side.
Yeah.
And then
I'm glad you brought up Nick. He's one of my idols, like, especially growing up. He was somebody that I really looked up to. Like, he was one of the top ODP players. He was always in the.
He's a year older, or
older than me, or like
he was on the rush team.
Yeah, he's on a really, really dominant rush team. I played with Rush for a little bit, but he was always 1 year older, but he was always making the youth national teams, and he was at, I think it was he played with Chatfield. Wasn't it Chatfield?
Yeah, I think so.
And I mean, one of the top players, especially as a youth player, went to Loyola Marymount. I even went on my visit. One of the reasons I went to my visit with Loyola Marymount is because that's where Nick Blanco went. And on my recruiting visit, like, I stayed with him in his, little dorm and stuff like that, and he posted me up, and we had a really good time. And even I remember when I was younger, maybe 14 or 15, like, he gave me one of his older, like a pair of cleats that he.
Oh, really? I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
That's a lot of respect right there.
Yeah, and for youth players that I've played with, I'm glad that you put him in there. I'm glad, yeah. And this is where this caliber of player, you're really, like, bringing in a fire squad over here.
For sure. And this is all business right here.
He probably wants to go in here, you know what I mean?
And he probably does,
maybe
but
he wants to go out a bit, or he maybe.
And
wants
that's
to go
totally
in.
fine.
Yeah, but okay, I'm into it.
But I think on this side,
And he does like a red card, like he'll tell you probably in the episode he does like a red card, but it looks like a squad that can deal with it.
In some scenarios, yes, and I think this is where maybe Kenji and him are probably he might step in and say hey, and pull him off a little bit. So strategically, I think it's a good spot for him. He will definitely be terrorizing the left side for the forwards to be making the runs and scoring some goals up there.
And then who do we have? Like, I'm curious what's happening here with this squad. Like, let's give me.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Like, this is looking good.
And then on the right
I
side,
thought you were just gonna rock up with like the Cherry Creek boys and.
who?
the
No.
Cherry Creek
If we want to be losing
Like,
the
if you wanna be in the
semifinals,
quarters, yeah.
if you want to be
Yeah.
losing the semifinals, maybe
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
But we're not making friends right now, So,
Yeah.
on the right hand side, I
And
think.
these are some real heavy hitters. So Town Branch, like if you're listening, we could use your support because
Big
if
time
we can
stuff.
get these guys, these guys have some real pull.
I agree on that. So on the right hand side, I'm gonna have.
And I can tell you a brief story about Roger, for example.
Yeah.
One time we were training together, and this is down in Denver. He was living in Denver, and he was like, oh man, I'm coming to Fort Collins tonight for like party. And I'm like, what? Fort Collins, like that's where I live. He's like, yeah, I know. And I'm like, what? Like, where are you gonna be? He's like, the address is like 316 Edwards. And I thought he was messing with me. Because my address is 318 Edwards.
Seems right down.
I was like, so you're coming over to my house or what? Like, how'd you get my And I was like, it's not 316, it's 318. He's like, no, it's 316. Like, I'm coming up there tonight. What? But he didn't. It was a party across the street. Like, from my
And he
parents'
was
house,
there?
Doug and Alan's house. Yeah, we had a party over there. Like, in the summer. And then, we had Coronas and stuff, like, in the summer. But, he was like, bro, meet me. And I'm like, I'll probably meet you because it's like across the street. Well, I thought it was a joke, but it was serious. Because, like, some of his buddies lived in that house across the street. Like, they went to CSU, so when he was back for the summer, like, he was coming up to see them. I was
Wow.
like, 316 Edwards? I was like,
That's pretty legendary.
I was like, this is a joke.
We love that. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, this is your center. Like, that's your midfield partner. Like,
Yeah,
that's
or
what you
just
want.
have a Corona, pass, do some abs. He loves ab work. Yeah, so.
We're gonna move over to the right hand side. And again, I think we have a very solid back four. I think the center mids are solid. Blanco, solid. Very attack minded. Maybe you might be not coming back as much.
We'll cover. Yeah.
We'll cover. On that side, I'm gonna have Zork. And I didn't get to play with Zork as much as I wish. We crossed some more path in the past, but
On the right.
on the right, and I think again it'll be a great partnership between me and him on the right hand side, and he sees the field very well. That's one of the things that I've noticed about him is he could really feel between other players and understand, and he times his runs well. He has the knack for the fucking goals. He knows when to go downfield, and he's ready to go. And there's not another person that I know that also loves the game like we do. Honored to have him on the right hand side like that.
Wow. Yeah.
But that would be my choice up there. And then we could get into the up top stuff if you're ready.
Well, I would just say Zach. I mean, Zork. Very early on, but I've seen him. If I was gonna play him anywhere, I would put him out on the right, especially in that 4-4-2. He still does at 41 or 42 years old. Like, he still does bust people up 1v1 and get down that line.
It's crazy.
But
It's crazy to me.
especially when he was younger. He was like, it was like Allen Iverson on the sideline. Like, he would be doing
Chopping?
Like, he'll be, he'll be getting down here. But he'll be getting to the goal also. And,
Probably maybe, less getting back. Maybe, I'm not sure. Again, the back four is already, there for, and I'll be.
No, he was fit.
He definitely was fit.
I was just bringing him back because, like, for your magnet, but.
For sure.
Maybe at Metro, like, he only played 2 years at Metro or whatever, so maybe the college career
was maybe undercut, or he didn't get the full opportunity,
Yeah.
to show what he could do, or at the pro level too. But I mean, the guy still just like any game he's in, he's gonna make an impact in. We do joke about it, but he maybe does have more goals than like this whole team combined so far.
Which is dangerous. Which makes it dangerous. And which makes it the reason why he's part of the top.
In the Vale, Fred Armour, which is where we mostly play. Most of us play now in the summer. Is like he for sure has the most goals in tournament history. So, and he's gonna keep. I mean, he's as good as he's ever been. Like I was watching him today with you guys. He's as good as he's.
I thought so too.
Ever.
I thought so too. I mean, he's got 2 kids now, and he's still good. He's still going.
Yeah.
Which says a lot. So, let's move on to the forwards here.
Yeah, let's do the forwards.
I think I think you knew this was coming, but CJ. I think CJ was
Chris Johnson.
Chris Johnson. Colorado Springs guy, I think.
Yeah.
Beast.
Mm-hmm.
Underrated as well. Didn't have much to say. I got to room with him at ODP and stuff, and got to know him as well. But from a soccer standpoint, it was hard to guard him. It was one of those situations like he had the body of Lukaku. Probably better touch than Lukaku.
It's true.
I could foresee the support of Blanco and Zorc and and Roger. I could see him scoring 30 goals a season, no problem.
I agree.
No problem.
Really, he doesn't even stress.
He probably wouldn't even celebrate, even though we tell him to celebrate. He's gonna just, we don't like, we gotta go back to the half, so. A lot of respect for CJ. I hope he's doing well. So, CJ.
Yeah, have you seen him around or what?
I haven't seen him around.
See, that's maybe where this podcast
but
is.
Hey,
now,
CJ, if you're listening.
Same thing. Burns, everybody mentioned in the episode.
If you're listening, you get an episode.
And I have to agree with Koji. Like, if I'm defending over here against CJ, like, let's say it's me.
Yeah.
It's a yellow card. First play, I only have one option.
You're pulling him.
The next play, I have only one option is the yellow. Yeah, but he could do a lot of stuff. Lay it off. He can spin you to shoot. He can get. What a wild guy! Like, yeah, CJ. Like, please come on the podcast. So, and like Zorc gets to the end line, fucking,
I know.
Roger, top of box, volley.
Right.
And
It's
I
very
understand why
creative.
your back four is staying home.
It's very solid.
Conserve.
Let's let it go a little bit.
Conserve.
Let's let it go.
We got one more starter.
Yeah, one more. I think this one, for me, I'm gonna do Collin Johnson, just to kind of put some pace up top. He was skillful.
Yeah.
He did score a lot of goals. I remember that was very. I thought he was a top player growing up myself, and
Sheesh.
I think that will be my starting lineup. That I think would put up a pretty good fight with a lot of other 11s out there.
Yeah.
I don't want to mess around. Maybe there's certain players that mess about. It's a solid 4-4-2. McGill's in the back yelling at us. Probably going to be winning a lot of 3-0 games.
Yeah, I think this is big. I mean, these two, maybe this is more of like the Man City, like the, where they're a little bit, inside also, but then maybe getting outside.
Right.
Collin, wow, what a freak, so good, especially as a youth player. But yeah, maybe Collin, maybe Zach Cousins, some of the better, like, they didn't end up, making it to the
Underrated a little bit.
but as youth players, wow, they were just. Well, I mean, Zork still is, but I mean, Collin, when he was 16 or 17 or 18, the best player in the whole country, probably.
I agree.
And
It's a good mix of players.
Also a great guy. Also
I thought
such a
so
great
too.
guy. And
I thought so too. He was at GU.
and Kellyn, when I went on we went on our recruiting visit.
With
Yeah,
DU.
and we stayed with Kellyn when we went to DU.
Yeah.
And Kellyn was our host.
Yeah, he was a great guy. I think.
CJ went to Loyola Marymount too.
Really?
With Blanco. So it was like when I was like listening to them, you know, I was like, okay, well these two are out there, so I should go out there.
Yeah, why not, right? Like,
Bo from Colorado Springs also was out at LMU, so yeah.
yeah, and to
Yeah,
pick my
geez, man,
managers,
this is looking good, bro.
I agree with you. I feel pretty good about it
Yeah.
each week. I think I'll definitely be excited playing with these guys.
Training would be nice.
Training will be so fun. Oh my god,
And that's one of the best parts about the team, you know, too, is the travel, the training, the meals, the warm up, the
poker games afterwards,
I
or
gotta go out
whatever.
by Frank and have to run.
Yeah.
I come back with, or like, the red card, and then we had to fight, or like, you were in the World Cup this summer, and
Oh yeah, how was that?
So-
That must have been
and
cool.
like Zork would be, I was in the bars all night.
Oh yeah, we're
looking
good
cute.
though, right? Like we're gonna be
Yeah.
He's probably gonna right to CJ's head, like just perfect.
Yeah,
So-
well, CJ will like the delivery.
He would
Yeah.
very much
The
love
service.
that. He would. Anyway, yeah. And I just think it's not just even the talent of the 11, but
Mm.
maybe the mixture of the.
It seems good, dude. That's so nice.
Some of the friendly giants in the back, and then maybe the.
Well, I
the
wouldn't
red-
say this is friendly. but-
No, this one's not, but this one is. But maybe the hothead red.
Yeah.
But like it was just
A
for
little
me.
protection on this
It's
side.
not just one personalities on the teams. It's just a little bit of a mesh that I felt that would bring a strong squad.
Yeah, this is looking good. And I'm honored just to hear the squad, but I'm especially honored to be in the squad.
Part of it for sure.
And then are there any, is there a manager or
I mean, for me, I think I would have Frank. I think that would be given
Mhm.
some of the wild cards that are out there. It
Where
would
does
be.
Frank stand?
It would be
On that side?
Yeah, he's right here.
I can't see this going that well.
Maybe not. Maybe.
Well, maybe you have to.
Because if it's not, it still can be good though. But probably good to have somebody that's a little bit more of a keep us in line type that keeps us fit and disciplined and stuff. So I would have Frank. I did enjoy Frank having him as my coach growing up too.
Yeah.
So that's kind of my
Any
view.
honorable mentions or like the subs?
I think some of them, I did like the Sean Sandoval's. I did like the Wands.
Where would they go?
I would
in the
I would
teams?
also I think they would be a good winger, midfield maybe. I think it wouldn't be right if I don't bring even though maybe I would have Georgie in there as a sub, just to keep him on the squad as well. We got along.
It would be interesting then, like the Frank versus Zach, but then also like the Georgie versus Zach.
Yeah, a lot of good challenges going there. But I think from an 11 standpoint, I feel pretty strong there.
Okay, man. Let's see the time here. Yeah, so we're in extra time. Is there anything else that you want to discuss?
No, I mean, is there anything that you want to ask me, or is there?
No, just sometimes there's a, you know, maybe you have the nonprofit, or you've got some things going on that you want to talk about, or
No, the way that I want to close it off is that I think we started off with the question of, you know, how's my relationship with my, you know, with soccer and stuff. And I will say the game does come to you in a weird way, and that whether you are in a good relationship with it, or it's non-existent, or you're in love with it and it's with you every day or whatever, it does stick with you, and it some way or another will keep you connected with not just the sport itself, but with other people that maybe you haven't seen in years, maybe you haven't seen in weeks or months or whatever. And I'm sure you get this all the time being out there. You probably don't even sometimes think about someone, and you show up at a complex and you say, "Oh man, good to fucking see you," and it's a whole new, you know, chapter that you might not even foresee. But for me,
well, that's part of the idea of the podcast is to bring the community together, and I do see. I've had this idea for a little bit of time, but yes, out of the fields, I do see a bunch of people that I have stories with, and one of the reasons even today I kind of rushed you to get this podcast filmed, or recorded, but I just feel like the stories have to be told, you know, and if they're told, then there's gonna be more people that, you know, are mentioned or listen or have connections, and go ahead.
Yeah, and that's how I just want to conclude it is that depending on it doesn't matter what the relationship is with you in soccer / football, but you'll find a way to connect. You know, just the other week I started playing, or I connected and saw Brad's sister.
Seth, you both get episodes.
And that's just the way life goes sometimes, and it's a beautiful thing.
Stis, your fantasy prim is always at the bottom of the fantasy prim league, but Seth and Stis, now you both get episodes. So if you're listening here, you're in.
Get an episode in.
Come up, or I'll come down there.
But that's how I'm going to conclude it. I think it's always going to stick with me.
Wow. Thanks, Koji. All right, let's fucking turn this thing off.
Yeah.
Unreal. Jet life.
Whoa.